Not clear. Okay. Right. Okay. So there are conflicting opinions. There are people saying clear and there are people saying not clear. I do not know if it is too much of a problem. We can retry. But as long, yes, please. Is someone trying to speak?
Ma'am, maybe the mic alignment.
Oh. So is it breaking or is there some other problem?
It was not breaking, some noise from the background, like it was rough, something like that.
That is difficult for me to. Okay, let me check. It is. Did you have this problem last time too, or is it just for today?
Only today, ma'am.
Something wrong here. I'll see. Let me see if I can fix it. I'll just be back.
Now it's better actually.
Now it's better.
Yeah, better than before. Yeah.
Right. So how is it now? I try to switch off a couple of things here. I probably thought it's the background noise.
Noise is not there, just loud. I think loudness, some loudness is required. Noise is not there, yeah.
All of them are full. Okay, I'll try. I'll try to raise my voice because I think other controls are all on maximum. So there's nothing to be done about that.
It's better now. Yeah, it's better. Yeah.
Better now. Okay. All right. Fine. So yeah, what were we discussing? Yes, we're talking about modalities represented by the model verbs, right? So yes, you're right about it, about possibility, certainty, obligation. All of them are various modalities represented by them. But structurally, what did you notice about model verbs? This is one thing. Okay, this is the understanding of what model verbs mean. But what does it mean otherwise? If you look at, say, the structure of a model verb, what do you have to say about it? We discussed these things, okay? So just now we used the word, I said they're used along with the main verbs, okay? So if they're used along with the main verbs, then you should be able to comment something about the nature of model verbs. You know, they are called verbs. So what happens in a verb in a normal sentence? No idea? You have heard these things multiple times. You're just not thinking hard. That's all. Okay. What do you find on the verb? Do the verbs come independently, like say a noun or an adjective in a sentence, or does it come with anything else?
They don't have any semantic content. Like they don't have actual meaning when they appear alone. But when they come along with the other verbs, it makes sense, especially when it helps us.
About model verbs. Are you talking about model verbs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one aspect of it, but more. I'm talking about particularly the grammatical aspect. Okay. So, in a normal sentence, how do you see the verb? The verbs don't. They can inflect, right? They can show you tense and aspect and other things, right? But does that happen to the model verb? The question was only that. So the reason we call them auxiliary is that, okay, they can, they might change their forms, but when they do that, they do not do it to express tense. This is a point that I've discussed with you in the last class, right? So you don't call could the past tense of can or would the past tense of will, okay? There could be instances where you use them in that way, but largely you don't understand modal verbs. When you talk about modal verbs, you do not see them as past forms of can, will, may, or shall, right? All of them are treated they're treated independently as different modal verbs. So shall, should, may, might, can, could, will, would, must, all of them are different modal verbs. We have 9 of them. 9 core auxiliaries, model auxiliaries is what they're referred to as. Okay, so the point is that they don't have text. They don't, if you look at them as past forms of the ones like will and can, that's the wrong understanding. Okay? They don't have tense at all. All right. So that was one point that we discussed from the last class. And another takeaway at model verbs is that they can be, one model verb, say for example, can. They can represent various modalities. So it's not fixed on it, right? So this can be only used for permission, or say this can only be used for request. You'll see this thing very commonly with model work. One model verb is able to express multiple modalities, right? So which means when you're using model verbs, the context is very, very important, right? One model verb, say something that can be used to indicate possibility, like could, may give you an extremely different meaning when used in a different context, right? So the importance of context is it's really important in model verbs. Before you make a choice on which one you would be using in the blank or whatever, maybe in a passage or whatever you get, you need to understand the context behind that as well. Okay. And why do we do this? Is because the reason is that you can use a single model verb in multiple modalities. Okay, that's the reason. So that's the third point about it. And since they are auxiliaries, we know that auxiliaries can take negative forms too. So because they are auxiliaries, you can also have negative forms of model verb, right? So you have things like can, you have things like wouldn't, right? But will and shall, they have slightly different forms in their negative form. Like they change their spelling. It's not like could and would. So what's the negative form used for will? If anybody has seen it, you might have definitely seen this, right? That's very common. We use it. Negative form of the model verb will.
Want.
Won't, right? This is the one. Don't get confused between wouldn't and won't, right? This is the one that you use, okay? This is the negative form of will. And how about shall?
Shan't.
Shan't, right? Shan't, right? Won't is quite common. You don't see people using shan't that often. Nevertheless, that's the negative form of shall, all right? So that's another takeaway from the class. And anything more? So if you have to make a question with, say, a model verb, what's the position of the model verb? If you have to frame a question, if you want to have a question sentence with a model verb.
Front position.
You front it, right? You front it. So this means it takes the front position before the subject. So, something like, can you tell him to keep quiet? Or should I tell him? What would you do? Right. So all of them, not what would you do? Would you like me to help you? Okay. So what happens? It gets fronted, right? So it precedes the subject when you want to make a question. Right. So anything? I think that's all about the general understanding of model verbs. Okay. You have another class of model verbs, right, which do not fit this core category. In core category, you have 9 of them, which we have already discussed. But there are more, right? You have seen things like ought to. Yes, no. Seen this, no? Ought to. This is very commonly used. Then anything more that you know as model verbs? They may not look like one, but then in function they are. They look very similar to model verbs in function. Anything that you've come across? Something that you can think about? No idea? How about, things like supposed to? They use it very commonly. You're familiar with this phrase, right? Supposed to?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So supposed to is one example. Then there's another one called need to. Okay, need to. This is also very common in speech, right? Even in writing, not just speech. So supposed to, need to, and then you have others like got to, of course, then going to, okay? It's going to rain today, right? So instead of saying it will rain today, you hear some people saying it's going to rain today. Well, they mean the same, right? Both of them mean the same. Be able to, be able to, right? This is also one, something that functions like it's a serial verb, it's a complex verb phrase, but again, it functions like a modal verb. Then this one also is common, but I don't see everyone doing it, but definitely some advanced users also would be had better, had better. Okay, so had better is also another verbal complex that works with model like functions. Now these things, because they don't fit the traditional category of a model, they're not referred to as model per se, but you call them semi models. Okay, and there is no exhaustive list of it. If you ask me, are these the only ones? Need to, supposed to, ought to. Are these the only ones? Then I don't have an answer to that, right? So the very possibility of language helps you to bring about various complexes like this, which can function, which can stand in place of other words and do their functions, right? So we don't have an exhaustive list to this, but it's always nice to have a look at them, right? Another one would be have to, right? Just thinking about a few as we talk through. Have to is also something which would have a vowel like, sorry, not vowel, model like function. All right. Yeah, so that is from my side. But okay, so one difference between these models that we just discussed, okay, the semi models, have to, need to, supposed to, ought to, going to, be able to, had better. The primary difference between these semi models and the core models that we discussed, the 9 of them, is that those ones, the core ones, they did not reflect tenses, right? They were performing their roles individually, and they did not inflect for tenses. But these can undergo tense changes. Okay, supposed to, ought to, have to, all of them can take various forms of the tense. So that's the basic difference between all of them. The core model verbs and semi models. Okay, and now some of them can mean the same as the core ones, like the example I gave you. It will rain this afternoon, right? So it will rain this afternoon can be the will, the model verb will can be replaced with is going to, right? So I can say it is going to rain this afternoon and mean the same. Both of them mean the same, but that's not the case always. Doesn't mean that semi models are they can be used always in the place of, say, a core model verbs, because these semi models also have their own meanings. Okay, they are not like a equally replaceable phrase for something that is already present in the core model verbs. They also have their own meanings. Okay, so for example, look at a sentence like we are supposed to be there at the party. Okay, we are supposed to be there at the party. This is like the last week's example that we discussed. Remember that discussion we had between could and would? If people who were there in the last class, we had the sentence be, I could study for 5 hours while at school, and I would study for 5 hours while at school. Remember the sentence? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yeah, you remember this, no? The last class we had a discussion on that. So when we saw that both of them, could and would both go, it's right to use both of them, but then they differ in meaning, right? So
Yeah.
similarly, you have these. Okay, we are supposed to be there at the party, and we should. Okay, so these two sentences also. This is just to show you that they are not equally replaceable. They might sometimes be used in place of each other, like will and is going to. But it does not mean that in every context and in every other fashion they are going to be the same. They will mean one and the same. So this is one example of that. Just like the code example from the past class. We explained it last time when we discussed it. So we are supposed to be there at the party. We should be there at the party. So what's your reading from this? If you can make a difference. Usually people say that supposed to and should are equally replaceable, and a lot of people use it that way also. It's not wrong, but not in all contexts. Definitely not in this context. It will mean different. Can you understand the difference in the meaning? If you can comment, read the sentence and let me know what difference you see.
Yeah. In second one, it is necessary to go to the party.
But you do not have anything. You don't have a model verb which indicates necessity, right? What was the model verb we discussed that we would use for necessity? Usually the one that's used. Obligation and necessity usually indicated by must, right?
Yes.
Right. So if it's a necessity, I'm going to say you must. You must be at the party or
Suggestion type.
Yeah, this is should, yes, definitely like a suggestion or advice. These are all the modalities that should can represent. That's right. But here we are supposed to be at the party and we should be there at the party.
We should be there at the party.
So this is basically, the difference between these two very subtle differences, but nonetheless differences. Okay. So we are supposed to, this is the supposed to model verb is basically talking about, what other people think. We are supposed to be at the party, right? So this is about like a general, other people telling you that we are supposed to be, others' point of view, we are supposed to be at the party. This is what other people think, that we are to be at the party. The second one is we should be at the party is what we think, or I think, right? I'm telling someone we should be at the party. This is my thought process, and the previous one was the other's thought process, right? So supposed to and should can be used in this context. The separation among them, or the distinction of meaning between supposed to and should can be in this context, wherein if this is something that is initiated by the individual, then should might be an appropriate choice to use. Whereas if something that comes from a general understanding of the general understanding of the idea, wherein other people are involved, then supposed to might be a better choice. Okay, so very subtle differences. However, they make a lot of difference how you speak as well as write, and also the kind of meanings that you would intend to give. Right, that's more important. When you say speak and write well, what you're also meaning, what you mean here is that your intended meaning should reach the person. You should be able to express your meaning as accurately as possible. So this is one thing, right? So all of these model verbs, they are tricky, like I told you last time. You need to work with them constantly to understand, what are appropriate contexts of using which one among them, right? Not difficult, but requires practice. Okay. All right.
Ma'am, can you just once again tell the difference between supposed to and
So it's when it involves yeah, supposed to is when other people think that you should be at the party, right? This is based on others' opinion or what others think. We are supposed to be at the party. If I reframe it to make you understand, other people think that we are supposed to be at the party. They're at the party. The second one basically means I am the point of view. I think we should be at the party. So if I am the one who's thinking about it, then I'll have to use we should be there at the party. Whereas if it involves other people, if it is somebody else's opinion or suggestion, then you use supposed to. Okay. The idea is that I'm not going to tell me I'm supposed to. Okay. I should, and when it comes from others, it should be supposed to. Okay.
yes, ma'am. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, very minor variations of differences in meanings that are important. Right. All right. So let's then do one thing. We'll do the worksheet today and see. I don't cover a lot of these, complicated ones in the worksheet because that is not the idea for your course. For this is an introductory level course, and you're not required to go into the details of it. But I like using the session to discuss a few things so that you know that these things exist. And when you um, learn more about this here or somewhere else, you have these things in mind as you approach it. Okay. But say in the exam or in the activities that we do, we'll keep it simple because there the objective is to just take you through the contents of the video lecture and focus more on that. All right. So I don't think I've shared the screen. Do you see it? No, right? A minute. Is the screen visible to you now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So we'll begin with this today. We have plenty of questions with us. Okay. So you don't have to discuss all of them. Once you get a grip and an idea of these things, you can do it on your own also. So let's take up, we'll see many of them we can finish today. Whatever the number, I think it should be good for us to have a clean idea of what these, how these model work. Okay, let's look at the first one. The gym is designed to give everyone tools they need to reach their dream fitness goals. Whether it's to tone up or build strength, anyone is welcome to train in the gym. But before starting your fitness journey, you blank be asked to disclose any medical conditions. What could be the answer? You can use both the chat as well as you can raise your hands and answers are okay. Those of you can speak, rest of them you can type out your answers in the chat. Let's see how much we understand. Right? Will, should, okay. Should. Most of the answer is should. Why do you think it should? Okay, so when you're giving answers, you should also mention why do you use the, why do you think you're using that? Which is why speaking up would be better because else you'll have to type out too many things. Okay. It's not should. I don't think should be the answer. Or if it should be should, then you should tell me why you think it is should. Okay. Look at this. While we are speaking, we too are using too many model verbs. In fact, you can just take out an inventory of the speech that we have to study models and see if we are using them accurately or not. Nidhi says it's you must be asked to disclose. Okay. The problem with the model verbs is because they do not have a tense or anything on them. No, everything fits. You can use anything everywhere and it still looks grammatical. Could be grammatical. It might not bring any change to the grammar in terms of structure, but then it will not. It won't be correct in the sense that it won't be appropriate for the context. Okay. Read that again, guys. No, others don't have any other answers. Might. Okay, Shrestha says might. You might be asked to. Okay. All right. So, Shrestha, what is, when do you use might, Shrestha? Not just for Shrestha, anybody can answer. I just happened to ask her because she raised it. Something which is not certain in future. Future is not important, but okay, certain is uncertainty is one point that you can take. All right. Or probability. Okay. Probability. Can you use might for probability? You might, it might rain, right? You can say something like that. Yeah, basically, not probability. Probability you don't use. You cannot use might for that. What you meant is weaker predictions, right? You might have meant predictions than probability. So yes, that's the place. But how about may? How about may? Can we use may instead of might in the first option? Yeah. But what happens if we use might? What do you think will go wrong if I use the word might? Instead of you may be asked to disclose any medical conditions, if I say you might be asked to disclose any medical conditions, what am I removing from there? May sounds good, but you know what, might also sounds good. So now the problem is how do I decide whether I should use may or might, or why will may fit there better, or why will might fit there better? Yes, any idea? See, the reason why we don't use the word might there is because uh, the word might by itself, okay, it suggests very low possibility, okay, very low probability. That's the reason. But may is also used to indicate something that we are unsure about, okay, something that does not have, like, say, which is not very likely to happen. However, between may and might, the higher degree of probability goes to may, not might. If you look at the context, the fact that you would be asked to disclose any medical conditions in a gym, it has higher probability, right? It's not a very weak thing to say. It's quite we cannot say quite common. All gyms may not do that. However, between may and might, you can use may. Okay, the context does sound like, it's not a very weak probability. The chances are better than that. Do you see that difference from the context? Okay, as opposed to, say, another context where um, you would be asked for a full body checkup. Something, if I'm going to replace it with you dash be asked to go through a full body checkup, there you can use might. Okay, because that's like a very weak chance. No one's going to actually ask you to go for full body checkup. However, disclosing medical conditions would be not that weak a case. Rajalakshmi, you have a question?
Can would be used there? You would be asked to disclose any medical condition?
You would be not really. Okay, because where do you use would? When do you use would?
Like will be asked like that.
So see, the more you use will, you are adding certainty to it, right? You will be asked, right? So that's not the case. It's not like always, you definitely have to do this. But some of them might do, and most of the times it's also optional also. Not everybody is willing to talk about their medical conditions and all that. So no one is going to force you to talk about that. So given the context, this is not a hospital. You could be asked to, could also may not fit there. May, because we are still talking about things which will have less chances of happening. Okay? Could will still carry some weightage. So this could and can and all know they are binary options. Like either it happens or it doesn't happen. But may and might, they are about degrees in probability. That's the difference. Okay. When I say can and could, it either happens or it doesn't happen. So the options for you of the possibility is binary. But when it comes to may, might, and certain other modal verbs, they help you to find variations, find degrees of possibilities. They both mean possibilities, but one has degrees, but can and could, it's binary. Okay, mostly when used to indicate possibility, it is mostly binary possibility. It happens or it doesn't happen. But this is not a context like that. This is why I told you that context is very important while you look at model verbs. Okay, multiple answers look right. They all seem to fit everywhere correctly, but that may not be the case. Okay. All right. So you can use may. May not be marked wrong, but if you want to use the most appropriate answer, then I think it should be may. Okay. Now, next, the staff that runs inductions will always. Okay, 1 second. Is it? The staff that runs inductions always have tips and advices that save you a lot of hassle later on, like the best times to use what equipment and what exercises are great for beginners. Always, actually, that particular word has given away the answer. Okay, so this is another thing. This is like a tip. Also, look the words around them. Okay, you have something like always, then you can, without a doubt, use the word will. Okay, because it certainly expresses certainty. So the staff that runs inductions will always have tips and can. Shrestha, why will you use can? Can is again for possibility, right? You're sure here. You have the word always. So I know you have seen examples where people have used can always and all that, but can is when you use can with always, that is when you use can to refer to ability. Okay, here it's not about that. Get the difference, Shrestha? Which second blank? Oh, second blank in this sentence. Oh, okay. Fine, I missed that. All right. Yeah, so staff. But to answer your question, I mean, in case if anybody thought can put some there, when you use that with always, it's referring to ability more than anything else. Okay. So here the answer would be the staff that runs inductions can, what is it? Will always have tips and advice that can save you a lot of time later on. The second blank, I think, is um, straightforward. You don't have to think too much about it. Okay. Then the third one, morning is often hailed as the best time to fit in a workout as it dash reduce stress levels and be energized for the rest of the day. However, it all depends on your circadian rhythm. What answers? Will. Okay. A lot of people say will. Not a lot of people actually. Okay, there's can also coming in. Okay, suitable option would be can, then will. Okay, will again, see, you use them only in cases like express certainty, right? This is not something that you can tell person straight away that it will. What if it doesn't? Okay, there are people who do it and still there are times when that does not happen. So when it comes to medical conditions and other things, you do not, you won't even hear doctors expressing things with a lot of certainty. They'll also talk in terms of the probable outcomes of what they will do. So here, more than will, what would fit is can, right? So basically, you're saying that the workout as doing a morning workout or whichever activity it is, it has the ability to reduce stress level, is what you're saying. So, and it's referring to the regime of workout. So, this is why you use can here over will, right? It is not about stress levels or other things. You are referring to the workout regime and its ability to reduce your stress levels. So, can fits in there. Fourth one, if you consider yourself a morning person, it should be easy to motivate yourself for an hour in the gym before work. But if you dash get anything done before your 9 a.m. coffee, don't beat yourself up about it. Dash hit the gym on your way home instead. Second one is not a dash, sorry. So, but if you dash get anything done before your 9 a.m. coffee, don't beat yourself up about it. Hit the gym on your way home instead. That's not a blank. You only have that first one. Can. Guys, why should it be can? Yeah, right. It's can or cannot. Okay. It's not can, it's can, right? Read it carefully. So you understood what did this say? But indicates what? It indicates contrast, no? So it's going to take a negative meaning now. So, but if you can get anything done before your 9 a.m. coffee, it's saying if you're a morning person, then it's best that you do it in the morning. You hit the gym before that. But if you're somebody like that who can't, get out of your bed before 9, then probably you can come back from your work and do the thing, which is what most of the people do these days, right? Huh. Is the meaning clear? Read the sentence also carefully. Okay, just don't just because it fits immediately, don't jump to conclusions and put in there, right? So that but very clearly indicates that it's going to talk about something that is in contrast with the previous sentence, right? So can't is the answer to this. Now moving on to the fifth one. If your schedule is getting in the way of your circadian rhythm, it dash help to get an extra hour of sleep every night. This one can be filled up with two ways. You can either use something that fits the modal verbs used for advice or the modal verbs used for suggestion, right? Both of them can be okay. But given the context that we are dealing with, advice should sound better, but even suggestion will mark wrong. Okay? You can use either of the modal verbs that match them. Should, could, okay? It should help to get an extra of, okay, should in the sense of suggestion fits there. It could help in the context of possibility and advice, sorry, not possibility. Advice, yes, it fits there. Anything else you think that would fit there? Any other? It might, it might help to get in. No, might will be too much to say, because might is a very, very weak prediction to make, and it doesn't fit the category of advice and suggestions. So, keep in mind, may and might, no. May is still fine. You can use them for advice and permissions and all, right? But might, use it sparingly. Okay, only use that word when you are going to make, say, a prediction, and to a very weak prediction. That should be better place that you can use might for. And additionally, might can also be used to indicate, possibility. But again, possibility when the possibility is really weak. Okay, when you think that something is something has a very weak possibility, you can use might. So that word, use it a little cautiously. But other words, they can take each other's meaning. Okay. All right. So could or should or even can. Okay, can go, but definitely not shall. Don't use shall. Okay. Sixth one. You feel the pressure of your circadian rhythm more when you're tired. So getting to bed earlier dash the push you need to crush those 7 a.m. laps in the pool. Again, this exercise is going to have a lot of one kind of modal verb. Somebody says might. I just told you, use might very sparingly. You don't have to. Should be the push you need to know. This place should doesn't fit. Okay, just because it is used for suggestion in one place, it does not mean it should fit everywhere. Okay, to bed earlier should be the push you need. No, doesn't give you any identifiable meaning. You can use a very, you can use may, you can use could, maybe the push you need. No, not even may. Maybe the push you need. No. What's the other one? Let me check the chat. Could be the push, possibility. Yeah, could can be used. Could can be used, so that's not a problem. Any other Any other thing that you think you should be using? You know what I'll do? The safest one to use here is can. Right, since can is one model verb which can use, which has the most number of meanings. Okay, I'll just give you a quick example for that. What I mean by it has most number of meanings. Okay, so um, one thing. So when can be used to indicate request, it can be used to indicate ability. It can also be used to express general possibility. In sentences, it's also used to express certainty. It's used to express permission, and sometimes it's also used to express offer. Okay, so look at that. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 possibilities in the way you can use can, right? So one thing I would say is that if there is a confusion with respect to what you're using, you're not able to figure out anything from the context, the best chance it would be that you use can. Now, this is in the context where can is in the option, okay? Because this is one such modal verb which takes multiple meanings. So look at a sentence like this. Can you look at something for me? Now, this is what? This sounds like what? Rajlakshmi, go ahead.
Like asking, requesting, can you do this for me?
This is requesting. Can you look at some of me? Can you do this for me? This is a request, right? That is one meaning of it, in one sense that we can use it. If I say I can't do anything for a while, I can't do anything for a while. I cannot. Okay, so what is that indicating? I cannot. Ability, right? Somebody is talking about their ability. I cannot do this, right? Third one. Sometimes machines can behave like that. Sometimes machines can behave like that. Possibility, right? Anamika? It indicates a general possibility, right? Sometimes machines behave like that. Or if I replace the, if I want to make a statement without using can here, I can rewrite this as it's common for machines to behave like that. So it's common. So the word can here, the model verb can here is representing it's common. Like the meaning indicated is that it's common. So possibility, general possibility. Then it can be him. It can't be him. Okay. The murderer can't be him. Can be him, or the murderer can't be him. Cannot. Okay, not CAN. Cannot. What does that indicate? Someone's trying to speak, but your voice is very feeble. I cannot hear you. If no, more than that, you're saying this with a lot of certainty, right? It can be him. So you're saying, I'm sure it's not him. Okay. Another way of putting it is that, right? So now in this context, can is used in certainty, to express certainty. Then can I take, can I take an hour before I submit the assignment? Can I take an hour before I submit the assignment? Now what is happening?
It's like permission.
Permission, right? In this case, it's permission. You're taking a permission from someone. Then, can I help you with this? Can I help you with this?
Offering.
Offer, right? You're making offers. So look at that. Just the one modal verb is used in 6 different forms to indicate 6 different meanings. Okay. Most of the modal verbs are like this, like you have already seen. They can take more than at least all of them will have at least 2 meanings. Some of them are going to have 3 or 4, but can has the most. It takes these many with it. All right. So I would say, in case you're given a free option, then try and fit in can there. This is just only, this is not anything nothing of what I'm going to say belongs to the grammar or the understanding of what modal verbs mean. This is just for treat this just like a tip. If you're confused and you do not know, then most probably you use a can. For the sake of exam, that should work. Okay, and only if you have can in the option. That situation may also be less likely where you're obviously given a specifics. But in case you're lucky enough to find the question like that, then go with can. Unlikely that you'll go wrong. Okay, so in this case, what was your answer? You gave me many answers, but I think the best fit for me here looks like can. Okay. Which was the one we were discussing? The fifth one, right? It can help to get an extra record. Okay, so now the next one, 6. You feel the pressure of your, no, sorry, we're discussing 6. Okay, so 7th one, if you're feeling self-conscious on your first gym visit, your initial instinct dash be to skip straight to the treadmill or weight machine and prove your worth. But this is the root state. If you're feeling self-conscious on your first gym visit, your initial instinct, there is one modal verb which is most of the times used with a conditional. Correct, would. You can use would there. Would is a good option. Anything else you think will fit there?
Good.
Any other modal verbs you think will go there? Would be the safest option to go with, but anything else from the list that you can go there? May can go, right? You can use may also. And in this case, you can use might too, because this is about individuals' preferences. So whatever prediction you are making is weak in nature. So might can also go. However, may and would be the better choice to go. Might is also right. You won't be marked wrong if you use that. Okay. So yes, so you can use would or may or might or any of this in this blank. All fits. Then warm-ups are crucial as they prepare your body for the demands of exercise, loosening up the muscles and reducing the risk of injury. This also means you're less likely to pull a muscle during your workout and minimizes the chances of lactic acid building up, which dash lead to cramping. Answers? Which will lead to cramping? Are we sure that it will definitely lead to cramping? Yes, you can use will, not a problem. But this is also another blank where multiple options are possible. Which will lead to cramping would be right, but should not be your first choice to use. What are the others that you can use? Can, may, can and may, yes, goes. Anything else? Which may lead to cramping is good. Which can lead to cramping is good. Which will lead to cramping, a very strong thing to use in a situation like this, right? Because see, look at the set that goes before it. This also means you are less likely, right? So try to draw meaning from the context also, right? That is important in modal verbs. Although you may not be wrong, but can and may would fit here better than what is it? Will. Could. It could lead to, which could lead to cramping. To pull a muscle during your minimizes. No. Here, can would be, see, here if you use could, no, it wouldn't mean anything different from can. You will just make the context a bit formal. Okay. In terms of meaning, it's not going to make any difference. So can is a better option here. Okay. You can replace it with could if you are talking about it in a formal context, but the meaning remains same. So go for can. That's better. If you use could here, it will give a sense of past tense, which we don't want. So might, no, might, see again, might, where do you use might? Might is for very weaker predictions, right? Very weak possibilities. This is not a weak possibility. This can happen. There is some possibility of this happening, and it's not a very big possibility. So we can use that. We cannot use might, but may, can, and will, and all will go. Okay. Now, the ninth one, exercise bike, a sit-down cardio machine that works all of your leg muscles. You dash increase resistance to strengthen and tone your legs. Now, what is this talking about? The sentence is about what? The ninth sentence. Exercise bike, a sit-down cardio machine that works all your leg muscles. You dash increase resistance to strengthen and tone your legs. Now, this we are talking about exercise bike and what it can do. Basically, we are referring to what? The ability of that machine, right? So then the word that you can use is why will you use all these must, will, and all that? You have a very simple model verb that you indicate ability. Can. Just go ahead and use the word can, right? We are referring to the ability of the exercise bike. So you can use can and be done with it instead of getting into all the other complexities. The 10th one, people who are new to free weights that sometimes make mistakes that lead to injury. People who are new to free weights that sometimes make mistakes that lead to injury. Answers? Can or may. Yes, can or may. Would, no. Again, would is something that you will use to express certainty. You have a certainty here, no? So can or may should be okay because both of them will indicate possibility and probability. Okay, so can and may sits fit there. Ask the staff at your club to recommend somewhere you dash strength train. Again, this sentence indicates what? It's talking about possibility, right? Yeah, can. Okay, can, or you can also use could. So, like in the previous sentence, if you replace can with could, then the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to make it formal in nature. Okay, nothing more. But that has got to do with model verbs. So, can means it's good. Then next one, ask the staff at your club to ask the staff at your club to recommend somewhere. Okay, that's done. If you're feeling self-conscious, know the experience that will still warm up by using the bar on its own. So you dash be the only one. So you dash be the only one gives you a negative reading. So you will have to use the negative form here. But which one? You wouldn't. Why wouldn't? Can we simply you won't be the only one? You can use wouldn't there, but all you're saying is you're basically using a formal meaning, right? So wouldn't is okay, Advait, not wrong. All you're doing is you're formalizing the context, okay? So since that is not a part of the discussion in model verbs, that particular aspect is not what we want to discuss in model verbs. I'm not going by that, but wrong. Okay, wouldn't is fine, and it's used in the formal context. So won't will fit there. Anything that you think will go there, can I use can? So you can be the only one? No, right? Doesn't seem to work. Or you might not be the only one. Yes, maybe might not be the only one. Can be something that can go there. Okay. Make a prediction. So might not be the only one is fine. Attending the gym regularly, 13th one. Attending the gym regularly is a fantastic step towards achieving your fitness goals. If you really want to read the results, though you dash sign up for a gym class. Attending the gym regularly is a fantastic step towards achieving your fitness goals. If you really want to read the results, though, you dash sign up for a class. So this is again, advice, suggestion. Any of those would work here. should, won't, Ravikant. Why will we use won't? It's not in negative. Not somebody, it doesn't indicate anything that means that it is negative. So should, yes, should is the most common one that would come here. Anything that fits in the category of suggestion and advice, most often should. So that's the right answer, should. Classes are great for giving you new ideas for workouts, but they dash always help you move forward with bespoke goals. Classes are great for giving you new ideas for workouts, but they dash always help you move. This is about what? We are talking about what the classes can do. Okay. Not about workouts or ideas, about classes. Working, we're talking about the ability. Yeah, correct. Can't. Can't is the right answer for that. So, but can't always help you move forward with bespoke goals. Now, the 15th one, personal trainers dash also keep you accountable for your goals, preventing you from slowly drifting away from your machine. Okay, they can. Okay, so can is fine. Any other model works that goes there? Any other model works? May also keep you accountable. No, they have to in some sense. Okay. There's no option for personal. They are hired for a certain thing. So can, you can use referring to doing these things as their ability to do these things. And additionally, you can use model verbs like will. Correct. That's right. Right. Will is correct. Okay. So certainly they do these things. Right. Personal trainers. They're expected and they certainly do these things too. So can and will both fits this category. All right. So, okay. So I think that should give you a fair idea about what model verbs and how they're used. There can still be confusions, but they'll come around only if you work with what each of them mean and what are the contexts in which you can use them, right? So, and always keep in mind they can have multiple meanings, which means that more than one can be used in a sentence. But unless you are planning to give out some very specialized meanings with your references, most of the times these model verbs are going to take more than one meaning, and can being the one with maximum meanings, like we discussed. Okay. So yes, any doubts? I see someone's hands up, and I don't know this. Rajalakshmi, yes, please. Rajalakshmi, do you have a doubt?
No. I
Okay,
raised.
that's from the previous thing. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, anybody with a doubt? Anyone else? Naveed, I'm seeing those messages. Yes, we have a couple of files to upload. We'll do that most probably by today evening. From the previous class, we did not use anything, but this and a few others will definitely go up. Okay, you'll be able to find it there. But any other questions besides this, guys? Any confusions that you have with respect to using model verbs? If no, we can close the session. We'll look at other topics in the next class. And you can read these documents, and as and when you develop a question you have, you can definitely come back either to the forum or to the this session or live session or anywhere and ask your doubts. If you do not have any to ask for now, then maybe we can close the session. Okay. Thank you. We'll meet next week, all of you.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello? Close பண்ணுங்க. Okay, okay.